Hi everyone, welcome back to Tatum Farms. Today I am going to be showing you how I do our fried chicken. I had attempted to do a fried chicken video with chicken legs and thighs, but something happened to it and I lost the footage. And so tonight we're going to be doing chicken strips. It's all the same concept, just a different style or different cut of meat. So come with me this evening and I will show you exactly how I do our chicken strips and how delicious they are. First, I've got to get them in the marinade. First step is going to be getting this chicken cut up. This is 4 chicken breasts that I've pulled out of the freezer and defrosted. So let's get this cut up. Alright, I have these all rinsed off. I did forget to mention you will want to rinse off your chicken. And I am going to just pat this dry to get any extra water off. And I'm also going to trim up, you can see some of the fat on here. I am going to kind of trim just some of that off. We're going to be slicing it so I can trim it as I go. But I'm just going to get this sliced up into the size of chicken strips that I want. You will also want to have a sharp knife, whatever you're liking. This is the knife I prefer, that I like to use. And what you're going to want to do is just make some room, for one. And these are not fully thawed out, but they will finish thawing out in the fridge with the marinade. So we're just going to cut, I don't want to make them too small, probably about that size. So I'm going to get probably 3 out of this one. Now they're not going to be all the exact same size, but that's okay. And you can trim off any of the fat, or you can leave it on just however you like. In these, you will notice it depends on how I cut it when I was cutting up the chicken. This one had an extra kind of piece underneath it because these are the whole breast meat, and so you may have just some little small pieces depending on, you know, if you bought a whole chicken or if you actually bought, or you could buy the chicken already pre-cut. It's up to you. We just raise our own chickens, so this is what I'm using.
You do whatever you want. Some people aren't able to have their own chickens at their house, so you can get them at the store, no problem.
The marinade I'm going to be using tonight, nothing fancy, it is just going to be the zesty Italian dressing. I've marinated our chicken in this before when I just roasted it in the pan. So we're going to test it out with some chicken strips and see how it does. Has all kinds of flavoring in there. You can see tons of stuff in there. So we're going to see what this tastes like on our chicken strips. Side note, if you are sensitive to salt and that kind of thing, of course all of this is going to be salted to your liking. Now you may want to change up the dressing, or if you have your own dressing that you prefer, you may substitute that for this. This is just what I have on hand that I've used up about halfway. I need to go ahead and finish using it up. So we're going to get this chicken in there in the bowl with this covering it, and you're going to want to make sure it's pretty well covered.
Okay, we've given our dressing a good shake. And this is just a big bowl that I have, and we're just going to put the dressing on here. I'm just going to go ahead and use it all, because that's only going to leave like a couple tablespoons, and it drives me nuts when there's just a little bit of stuff in this refrigerator. So we're just going to kind of break this apart and mix it around, make sure they're all coated. You want to make sure they're all pretty well under the dressing and are touching the dressing. So it's going to look like that. And I'm going to get my hands washed. We're going to put this in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Around then, they should be fully thawed out. And go ahead and get them in the fryer.
First thing you want to do is get your oil started and get that warm, because you don't want to have all your food ready, all the chicken ready, and your oil is not hot enough. So let's get that oil started. However, it would not be a farmhouse without a sprayer and some kind of insecticide stuff. So let's get the oven cleaned off. This oil we have used, but what I do is I just run it through a couple strainers and reuse it that way. A gallon, little less than a gallon, because you can see that it is down, but we're gonna put most of it in there, if not all of it. Okay, we're gonna do that. It's about 2.5 inches from the top there. I don't know if you can see. It's not quite all the way up, but it is up pretty close. If you are new to cooking, you're just gonna want to match this little arrow up with the preset time or temperature that you want. And this one's just gonna be on 350. And we'll let that get heated up and get our batter ready. First one of the ingredients you're going to need is flour as part of your breading, and you're going to want to put about a cup to a cup and a half of flour in just some kind of dish to dread it in. These are just the little kind of like 6x6 Corningware or something. These work good depending on how big the chicken is. If the chicken is too big, then they don't work that well, but these little chicken strips, it'll be just fine. So we're just going to scoop some flour. We're going to take a cup, about a cup and a half of flour. Just enough to kind of cover the bottom of the dish.
You can salt and pepper this to your liking. And pepper. Because you want to season as you go, otherwise you're going to get to the end and not have any flavor.
And then, next dry ingredient we'll need is the cornmeal. And again, you're going to want maybe a cup and a half of cornmeal. And you're going to put it in, I have 3 of those dishes that I just showed. You're going to put another cup to cup and a half of that in this. Just enough to kind of cover the bottom of the dish. And this cornmeal we're also going to want to season.
So I'm going to salt it as well. Again, to your liking. Looks like a lot, but my salt shaker doesn't work that well, so. Add some pepper. Add some cayenne pepper for a little bit of heat. You can go as heavy-handed or light with this, or leave it out altogether. Just depends on what you prefer. Some paprika. Adds a little smoky flavor. Also add in some garlic powder. I really want these seasoned up. Want them to taste really good. Because you hate to put in all the work and get to the end and they don't, they taste fine, but there's actually not a whole lot of flavor there. I'm going to take a fork and just kind of mix this around just a little. Just so it's kind of even. And this is dry, so I'm just going to take it into the flour as well, mix that salt and pepper around. Okay, now we are ready.
I'm going to start off with 3 eggs and see how far that gets me. 3 eggs should be good. Another time I've done 2 and I ran just short of eggs, so we're going to do 3 just to be sure. Okay, let's get these eggs cracked, and like I said, I am going to start off with 3. These are homegrown eggs. I got these from my mama before mine started laying not that long ago, so.
Get these cracked. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to whisk these. This is just a cute little whisk I got from my grandma on Christmas, and it works perfect. Let's go break those up. And if you want, you can add some milk or water to these to loosen them up just a little bit, but I think these will be fine for what I need them for.
I have my chicken that I've just pulled out of the fridge, and it has been in this marinade for a couple hours now. And we're just going to pull it straight out of here, get it into our flour, egg, and then the cornmeal in that order. Get them all breaded and then get them in the fryer. Okay, our first piece, we're going to take our tongs and just kind of shake off some of the dressing. You're going to put it right in the flour. Take the flour and just kind of pat it on there, just so it's fully coated. Take it from the flour into the egg. Here you're going to want to use your tongs and just toss it in there till it's fully coated. all that flour is covered. And then into the cornmeal. And here you're going to take your hand and just toss it on there. You don't necessarily want to use the tongs because it will get messy very quickly. You'll end up getting a bunch of egg mixture in there, and then it's going to set up on you. It's just a big mess. So we'll put that off to the side and keep doing that with the rest of them. Okay, I've got the chicken all breaded, so let's get it in the fryer. I think it's ready. I have heard that if you stick the end of a wooden spoon in the oil and it bubbles right around it, that's when the oil's ready. So let's test and see if that's even accurate. I'm just curious. Yep, you see the little bubbles? I don't know if you can see it with my lighting, but I can see bubbles around the end of my spoon. That's pretty neat. Okay. This oil is ready. Now I gotta wash the spoon, but that's okay. See, I've got a whole plate of little chicken strips here, and I'm gonna take my tongs and lift the basket, put them in the basket, and lower them down into the oil. Lift this up. I'm gonna grab some of the bigger ones, just set them on there. Hear it sizzle because that little tray is hot. Let's start off with 3 because I don't want them to get stuck together, but they're set in there about like that. Also, this grease guard will be your best friend. Keeps your kitchen a lot cleaner. Okay, these have been in here right at 5 minutes, and you can see they're floating to the top. Usually when they start floating, that's when they're pretty close to being done, or they are done. They're gonna look just like that. I have a paper towel on a plate here. Okay, I have me a little digital thermometer here. Sometimes it has a hard time coming on. And we're just gonna put it right in the middle and see if we're at 165 or above. It looks like we are good. These will continue to cook as they set here. Oh yeah, we're good. Let's get the rest of these in there. I think I'm just gonna do 3 at a time.
Start 5 minutes.
Okay, the last of our chicken. Doesn't it look good? Okay, we're gonna put this here on the side, turn off my oil, and let's get to eat. Thank y'all for joining me in the kitchen tonight. This chicken is done. It looks amazing. Now granted, they do kind of look like hush puppies, but that's okay. That's because of the cornmeal. But look how good these look. Oh my gosh, y'all. So let's taste test them and see how I did. Very good chicken. Has a little bit of heat, not too much. I did put some of the red pepper in the breading of it, so it does have a little bit of heat. But again, you can season that however you want. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you do subscribe to stay updated. Most of my videos may be in the kitchen, and my husband's videos are going to be outside getting done what needs to be done on the farm. So I hope y'all have a good night. Bye, guys.